Well, it's still pending the vote, but yes, we went ahead.
After the meeting, because I think it's.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is now 3 o'clock, and we will begin the Richland County Detention Center Ad Hoc Committee meeting. Madam Clerk, if you will, please call the roll.
Pugh,
Here.
Leto. Here. Weaver,
Here.
Aline,
Here.
English.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we will ask for a motion for approval of minutes if there are no changes or corrections.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, was there any discussion? Madam Clerk, if you will.
Pugh,
Yes.
Leto. Yes. Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Item number 3, adoption of the agenda. Attorney Wright or Administrator Brown, are there any changes or deletions?
No requested changes.
This time, we'll ask for a motion.
So move.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, if you will.
Pugh,
Yes.
Leto. Yes. Weaver,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
English.
Yes.
Motion approved.
At this time, we'll move to item 4, items for discussion or action.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Chair, members of this committee. The items that you have on the agenda today are carryover items to allow us to just to continue to be aware of what's happening within the facility, specifically related to item 4A. Pages 8, beginning on pages 8, what you will see is a continued update of the facility's projects that we have ongoing. And the reason why these updates matter, it's because it's a continuation of the renovations that we have going on within the facility to allow us to house individuals who are detained there in a fully renovated environment. And I recognize that some listeners may be hearing this for the first time who are watching this online or who are in the audience publicly. But the renovations of each of the housing units, which we have 18, is a complete renovation to include light structures, to include flooring, to include the doors on the actual units themselves, the interior to include a toilet and sink combo that is stainless steel, and it contains a water management system which allows for the more efficient use of water flow and to reduce if someone takes action to try to damage the water system. It allows us to control just that unit. Again, it includes the security fixtures within a unit themselves, and basically, again, it contemplates a complete renovation of not only the housing units and the rooms within the dorms, but the actual open space that is within the units as well. And that includes also the day areas when detainees are allowed to go out for their recreational activities. It includes the renovation of that portion of the facility as well. So what you have here is a list of the remaining units and the status of where they currently are in the completion of each of those units. All of our units, for the most part, house 56 individuals. That's what they are designed for. So the Mike housing unit, we're showing about 90% complete. Talks about the couple things that we're still waiting on. Again, the delivery of light fixture to complete the construction, and the estimated completion date of November 7th. And that just really depends on if the lighting fixtures, come in as anticipated. Uniform housing unit, the same, 95% complete, waiting on lighting, to come in. And of course, each of these items shows the budget for those items. This is also items that we did cover in a capital projects work session. So these funding amounts match up. The Kilo unit, 95% complete, again, waiting on installation and delivery of the light fixtures in order to complete that project out and be turned over to the facility for usage. Lima, again, same thing, waiting delivery and installation of lighting fixtures. And hopefully all of these things come in for us next week so that we could get these units turned over. And so once those housing units are complete, then we're able to then utilize those brand new renovated units. And then the next area that we will have to deal with or spend time on figuring out what we want to do. If you recall, when you went into the facility, there was a few of the housings that we call, there was basically open dorms, where it was just really just a wide open space. That's usually referred to as phase one. Phase one is an area where it is not contemplated currently any space where you could, put anybody else behind a second door. So once you're inside of the housing unit, then it's just an open space, just like we're in here now. Whereas for all of our other housing units, you go behind a secure door, and then individuals inside of there can be in some other area and be in a secondary secured door. So we'll have to figure out what we want to do to renovate phase one. Phase one is an open bay dorm, but it is not conducive to the population of individuals that we house in the Alpha Nest Glen Detention Center as they once were. So that would be a significant renovation, and we'll have to figure out how to work around the structure that we have there. Just to briefly remind you, at this point, we have over 50% of the individuals who are housed in the Alpha Nest Glen Detention Center are charged with some level of violent crime. So again, they're pretrial detainees for the most part, so they have not seen their day in court and been found guilty, although we do house some individuals who have been found guilty for lower offenses and who are in our care for ideally less than a year of time. But that's why we say that that phase is no longer viable for the level of individuals that we currently house in the facility into the future. Before I move on to additional areas that are not necessarily the housing unit, Madam Chair, members of the committee, what questions do you have related to the housing units?
Councilman Weaver.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Brown, it's been a while since I've been down there to Alvin S. Glen. I think it was spring of '24, I think. So with all these things almost being done now, is there any talk of scheduling another council visit? I'd like to get down there and see some of the stuff being done or finished.
So absolutely. So yes, sir. And I appreciate you all coming out. Many of you have been out more than once. Okay. And I have provided additional opportunities and sent communications related to that. You're certainly welcome to come down, and you're right. So these 4 housing units are about to go online. Okay. And so in order to kind of see where they are in phase, we will want to get you in there pretty soon because once they are complete, we are going to turn them over so they can be used so we can get people out of the older part of the unrenovated unit, which is phase 1. Okay. So what I'll do is, if you don't mind, when we get done with the meeting today, just see if we can get you on the calendar here pretty soon to get you an opportunity to look at that again.
Okay. And the second request I have is, the last 2 times I've been down there, it's been good, saw the facilities, but I never actually got to see any inmates or talk to them. I think we saw a couple. Can we actually talk to any inmates while we're there?
So the answer to your question is, and I want to say this because I know you're asking in a very general way. The first thing I would say is we have a few inmates those would be individuals who have been actually convicted of a charge that they received. But the majority of the people that are at Alvarez Glen are pretrial detainees,
Okay.
meaning that those individuals have not been found guilty of anything.
Okay.
And so I just want to say that because sometimes people feel like how you deal with people who are inmates versus detainees should be different. And the law does say that some differences do exist, but our main thing is anyone that's in our care and custody and control, we treat the same as it relates to our desire to be excellent and provide the necessary statutory requirements that we are supposed to fulfill. In terms of whether or not you should speak with detainees or if there are some inmates down there, I know that the county attorney generally doesn't like to provide advice or in public regarding that. I would just say that a lot of these individuals, they will begin to contact you. And so I would just encourage you, if you decide that you want to interface with a detainee for some reason, that generally speaking, employees of the county, except for those who are doing their jobs, we don't have casual conversations with the detainees.
Okay.
Because that can lead to fraternization and behavior that is not conducive to professional conduct of a detention officer. And so I would just ask that you would consider that as a member of council if we tell our detention officers that you're not supposed to have personable relationships with detainees, that we might not want to create that type of atmosphere where people think that's okay. Secondarily, I would just say the expectation that detainees may have of you may change, and you may become the person that they're pen paling or that they're contacting continuously because of the interest that you expressed and showed. But in general, they're all people, so people can have conversations. So I'll just say it that way and allow the county attorney to address it however he sees fit.
Oh, I'm not looking for a facility-wide audience or anything. I'm just saying.
But it will change.
I would just like to talk to a couple of people down there. Like, is there an issue that, I'd like to hear from someone down there that actually lives there. Is there something they want us to address? I mean,
Madam Chair,
Anyway.
You recognize.
most of these people are represented individuals that have attorneys who
Okay.
may not want you to have discussions with their clients,
Okay.
as well as, I'm not sure if you'd want to potentially get yourself involved in any of their legal matters. So
Okay.
just saying that.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll revisit it when the actual visit is set up. We'll see how brave I am on that particular day. But I would like to go down and see the facility again. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Forgive me, but at this time, I'd like to recognize our councilwoman, Mrs. Gretchen Cooper. I need to say it again, Mrs. Gretchen Cooper. Thank you for joining us this evening. And I'd also like to say, I want to thank you for saying, Mr. Brown, as they once were, the level of inmates, because we know Mr. Glenn tragically lost his life because there was just a line separating him from the inmates. And so that level has made us take a step up in security and different things. So thank you for saying it that way. And we understand. One of the things I've had different ones reach out to me to tell me that Alvarez Glen was filthy, but they were in one of the newer facilities. And so I asked the individual, how did it get that way? Because this is a brand new facility, millions of dollars were spent. So I'm not in there and you're not in there. So I need you to ask the question, who's in there that's making it that way? And I think they were just reaching out to say something negative, but ultimately they understood and they literally ended up apologizing because we are spending millions of dollars to make lives better for them to be able to live, even though, it's a situation that we can't control, but we want the best for the citizens that we represent. So thank you for saying that.
Yes,
Anyone else? Ms. Councilwoman Eileen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Brown, when we met last, we talked about the fact that there were a number of well, there's 52% of the detainees were violent offenders, and that was contributing to the census at Alvin S. Glenn. The other issue was mental health. Has there been any change, any headway made with regards to our requirement to take in detainees that have mental health issues instead of having them go to the Department of Mental Health?
So unfortunately, the answer to your question is no, ma'am. There hasn't been any change where we are able to, shift away that responsibility. One of the things that happened, and I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but there was a article where one of the agencies who was taking issue with the county regarding our addressing mental health within our facility, they made a point to say that the legal opinion of the judge presiding over the case said that it doesn't matter that we're not, a hospital or a mental health institution. We still gotta take care of it just like we were. So what I would say to this council, and you've done a great job in addressing the facility as a whole. I would just say for anybody that's listening, you're talking about this council in the last 3 years, and somebody correct me on the numbers if I'm wrong about that. You're talking about $89 million. And you still have individuals or organizations out there who say you need to do more. And I'm not, speaking on their behalf. I'm just saying that what we have done, I don't know how many other institutions are taking the aggressive approach to addressing this very challenging issue that is a nationwide issue. That's a nationwide issue at the local, state, and federal level. And so you should be commended for that. Some people might say it's your job, you ought to do it. I'm not saying anything to that. I'm just saying that what you have done, comparatively speaking, is leaps and bounds above what we know others should be doing. And yet, because they're in our charge, you're still responsible. It doesn't matter that they should be someplace else. They're with us. And then so the law says we got to figure it out. So the next probably iteration of what we do is we got to figure out what do we do to continue to address a 40% plus population of individuals that have mental health issues. One of the things I thought about doing was having the Department of Mental Health come in and talk about the, pros and cons of medical assisted treatment. Because we have individuals who are in our care and custody, and unless a judge orders that they, take medication, we can't force it on them. So if an adult says, no, thank you, I don't want that pill, I don't want that whatever it is, we can't require them to take it. And so we don't. So we don't force medication on people that are not court ordered. So there are different things that we may still have left that we could do, but it shifts the conversation to what additional, almost frankly, risk does this council plan to take to try to address the mental health challenges that you are facing in our community of Richland County as a whole, and then community of Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center. Thank you.
We want to recognize Ms. Allison Terratio for joining us as well.
Okay. Now I'm at the facility-wide security system, and I really won't answer questions publicly about that system. I'll just say know that the amount of money that we put aside to invest in the security system at the facility, we have talked about that in a non-public fashion. So just know that that project is currently, the design phase is completed. The construction drawings have been submitted and approved. And now we're awaiting the selection of the contractor and permitting with the expectation that we'll be looking to potentially solicit this bid in the coming weeks. So that's what I would want to share with you related to that. We also talked about the fire alarm system replacement. And again, these are just things that, they may seem mundane, but we just want you to know that we're taking care of all the things that were brought to our attention related to any sort of updates or renovations or renewals that we needed to address. And so you can see that is majority completed. And part of that is, again, just getting that system certified. The next item, and for those of you who had a chance to come out and see it, and in its going through phase, it's really almost now in its completed phase, and that's the attorney visitation area. Very briefly, what I will say is this allows attorneys to come and visit their clients without having to go into the secure parts of the detention center. So the attorney-client visitation area is still a secure area, but it is not inside of the jail proper. So that should give attorneys a better environment in which to have a conversation with their clients. So the rooms that are there are designed to be, soundproof, the quality, so that other individuals who are there visiting don't necessarily hear that. We also have contact and non-contact attorney-client visit rooms. What that simply means is from time to time, you have attorneys who say, we need to be able to sit down with our clients to cover this complex material, share this information with them, and doing that via a pane in between us doesn't allow us to prepare the client appropriately. So we do have those rooms that are available. What we learned from COVID is that we did not need to have all contact visit rooms, because if some communicable disease happens where people can't interface, we need to be able to continue with the business of the judicial system. So we do have a combination of non-contact and contact. The non-contact will still allow for attorneys and clients to both share documents if they need for them to see the document, or to electronically view the information as well as hear any audio that they may need to hear. So that is largely complete. When you come out to visit the facility again, and again, I just want to say it because I know a lot of folks don't know this or don't give this council enough credit for it. All of you have been to the facility. Some of you have been multiple times, and at each step of the way, you have shown an interest and a desire to make sure that we are doing what we say that we're doing. And again, that is not something that every county can say in the state of South Carolina. Their county council, the full body, comes out to their detention center and sees what's going on and has a direct correlation with the service that they are receiving through their administrator to understanding what work they need to do as a council. So I just want to publicly say that to you. I know it seems like a small thing to say, but I know it doesn't happen throughout the state. And so I want to tell you that I commend you for that and want you to keep doing that each year when we have those opportunities. The last thing I'll say about the projects that are ongoing out there deal with the lift station. And that's really the fact that we have just old infrastructure. And so as we've come to learn through our kitchen renovation and our overall jail renovation, that the lift station was another opportunity for us to address. And the lift station sounds exactly what you're thinking about. If you imagine, the jail is a community within itself. So you're talking about thousands of individuals who are, utilizing the laboratory, the bathroom, right? And so that waste has to get moved, and we have to have a way to make sure that continues to happen in a way that's sanitary. So that project is currently 85% complete. And so the only project that we have on the list that is largely incomplete, which is on page 11, and that's just the roofing project for the facility as a whole. So we do have a roofing project that is currently in process, and that's just because the facility itself is old. And the last thing, Madam Chair, before I turn it back over to you for any questions is, this body did also approve the construction of a tower. And the reason why that construction of a tower was important is because again, we don't get to decide how many people we house. If individuals are arrested in Richland County and brought to the detention center, assuming that they are medically able to be in our care, then we have to take them no matter what time of day or night they are brought to us. And even though we get reviewed on whether or not we have so many detainees to a housing unit, if we hit our number, we don't get to stop taking them. So you actually building this new tower or approving it to be constructed allows for us to address the fact that, number one, we have classification issues where we have to address individuals being housed with certain other individuals, and two, just the numbers themselves, the number of people that are arrested and are detained in Richland County. So I know that's a lot of information, but the jail is a lot. And so I appreciate you all being willing to find out what's going on, to listen, to ask questions, and to have these continual updates regarding the work at the detention center. So I certainly take any additional questions, Madam Chair, members of the committee.
Councilman Weaver. I saw your hand. Councilwoman Arlene.
The last time we met, I believe we voted that a third-party provider oversee the facilities maintenance. Have they started doing that, and how has that been going?
They have. So the third-party provider, I can't tell you their name. We use the acronym, so it's CGL. And basically what it is that through a work order system, whenever there are issues in the facility, regular maintenance issues, the officers are supposed to put in a work order and then prioritize, the work that needs to be done. So then CGL works off of that work order, and a part of the accountability that's designed to be set up is that we can take a look and find out how many work orders are being performed, what levels or severity are the work orders, how long is it taking to get those things done. And so that's, relatively new, but we are in utilization of them at this point in time. And so thank you all for approving that. And that's a very good question. And to just historically talk about it, the jail hired individual maintenance persons, or attempted to work in the jail 24/7 to provide these services. So as you can imagine, not a lot of people want to work in jail maintenance simply because it's a jail. So we weren't successful in continuing to keep a large number of people employed that could do the type of work, electrical, plumbing within the facility. So moving to this third-party provider that is able to do that also allows us to address just the need to have somebody that can do it. Thank you for the question. Madam Chair, the other items were really just items that we had on there from before. I just did not remove them, but I don't have any additional updates under those items, but they were left in the event something happens so that we could have the opportunity to utilize them. But with the completion of item 4A and any questions being asked and answered, that concludes my report.
Administrator Brown. At this time, we take a motion to go into executive session for personnel updates.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk.
Pugh,
Yes.
Little, Weaver,
Yes.
Aline, English.
Yes,
Motion approved.
now in executive session. I'll entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk?
Pugh? Little? Weaver?
Yes.
Aline?
Yes.
English?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Let the record reflect, we went into executive session to get advice from our attorney. There was no action taken. And at this time, do we have any comments or questions? That being said, any other updates?
No other updates, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So at this time, we move to item 5.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
It's been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk?
Pugh?
Yes.
Little?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Aline?
Yes.
English?
Yes.
Motion approved.
We are now adjourned.